In today's episode, we're going to talk about quarantine protocols, fish food, and parasites. Okay, we're kicking off the show with quarantine protocol. This is not some zombie quarantine stuff. When I talk about quarantine, people automatically think like, oh my gosh, what's wrong? I just watched a zombie movie and I'm freaked out. The quarantine of koi is strictly about making sure the koi is healthy and is parasite-free before you introduce the fish into your pond. If you ever had to medicate your pond, and let's say you have a 3,000 or 4,000 gallon pond, it costs a lot of money to put medicine in a pond that big. But if you have a small quarantine pond, 200-300 gallons, and then you can watch your fish and make sure they're healthy before you put them in, then you could save yourself a lot of money. I do want to tell you a couple stories in my experience. I had one of my very good customers call me, and her fish were sick and not doing well. So I raced over there to see what's going on. And the most common way to introduce parasites into your pond is adding new fish. So I get there and I'm going, hey, what's going on? Did you add any new fish to the pond? That's always my first question. Did you put new fish in? And she said, yeah, I just got this koi at a garage sale down the street and I threw it in there. That was about a week and a half ago. And now all my fish are not doing well. And I'm just like, you bought a koi at a garage sale and threw it in your pond? You can't do that. You have to quarantine. I got one other story for you about quarantine and how it's very important, because I had a client, a longtime customer with a koi pond, very old fish, and he was turning 70. He got a kind of a combo gift, Christmas / birthday gift koi. It was given to him around October or November when the water temperatures are dropping really low. They introduced the fish to the pond and he didn't see signs of parasites until spring. 5-6 months later, the fish start acting funny, they get listless, they start flashing, doing their thing. And it actually took me about 3 days to figure out where the parasites were coming from, because in 6 months, he's like, I didn't add any new fish. I haven't added fish in years. And then it dawned on him that he had added one in the fall when the water temperature was cold. So quarantine protocol is really important, especially if you have a really established pond with an established herd of koi and you want to add a new fish to your collection. Please go through some quarantine protocol and make sure it's safe before you put it in with the rest of your fish. Okay, I had one come into headquarters just the other day, and we get this one frequently. This is one that says, is my koi pregnant? She's been fat for 6 months. When is she gonna have those babies? So typically it's maybe in the off season where we might get a question like this where the fish have probably already spawned. And typically I'll have the fish get photographs of that fish, or if they're close by, I'll go visit the fish, or maybe have the fish come and visit us at headquarters. And this particular instance, is my koi pregnant, was an absolute no. It was actually a male. And unfortunately, if you're feeding a poor quality fish food, you can see some of these fish can end up with fatty deposits and develop around their organs, and then their whole body's not working right. Imagine if you ate fast food every day. Would you be happy with the results of your body? The answer is probably a no. And the same thing can be said for your koi. So you want to make sure you have a good quality food that you're feeding them, and then you're going to get good results with their conformation and so forth. Oftentimes, sometimes you might have a pregnant female and she has too much fatty deposits built up around her organs, and then when she goes to try and pass her eggs, she can become impacted because you're feeding a poor quality food. So the answer to that question is more often than not related to what they're feeding the fish. So not only is it good for your filtration, but the conformation for the koi, but it's just good for the overall health of the pond to feed something good. So if you think your fish is pregnant, send us photographs and we'll take a look at it and see if we can't help determine what's going on. But you're gonna get a question from me. Let me see what kind of fish food you're feeding to the pond. Another question I have, it happens quite a bit, and I get this a lot around spring, and it's gonna tie together back with quarantine protocol. The question is, why are my fish jumping in the pond? And they jump out of the pond like Shamu and splash. Some people think it's cool, like, wow, look at my fish are doing tricks. If I can get it to jump through a hoop, maybe it'd be cool. But that's actually a bad sign to see your fish jumping in the pond like that. And frequently it can tell you that you have some parasites. That's something that we want to look for. Now, I want to kind of throw out there that if you're transporting your fish or koi, let's say you are taking a healthy koi, no parasites, and putting it in another container, oftentimes they might jump because it's a new environment and they're unfamiliar with it and they're nervous. So don't mistake that for what I'm talking about right now. If you have a pond, it's healthy, everything's cool, and your fish are jumping out of the water, I'm gonna be worried about. I'm gonna probably ask you when's the last time you added a new fish to the pond, because it means you could have some parasites. And typically what's happening when the fish are jumping out of the water like that is they have some irritation on their skins or their sides, and they're jumping out of the water and trying to get rid of an irritation. And that's gonna take me to another thing that they'll do frequently. Another question I'll ask you if your fish are jumping out of the pond is, are your fish flashing? And that means the fish are swimming and they try and they say they have a parasite on their side, they might turn sideways and rub. And when they do that, if they're swimming at you, their belly goes to the sky. Typically their belly is white, and so you see the sun flash on their stomach. So that's a term that we're gonna use. I want you to know that term, flashing, and that's when their belly flashes in the sun when they're trying to scratch off a parasite. So the whole episode today is kind of revolved around, parasites and having healthy fish. So I hope that answers the question why your fish are jumping. It's not a good thing. Let's take a look at that. Here's the question of the day I have for you. Have you ever dealt with any koi parasites? What did you do? Put it in the notes right here on YouTube. I'm curious of how you handled your problem, or tell me if you lost all your fish, because if you did lose your fish, it's a terrible thing, because most of the parasites can be handled very easily if you catch it quick enough, okay? That's the end of the show today, but I need you to subscribe. Please do me a big personal favor and hit the subscribe button. We appreciate your support. We'll talk to you again real soon.